Okay, let's unpack this. What if the silence out there, the quiet of the cosmos, isn't empty space?
Yeah.
What if it's actually the sound of terror? And what if our greatest strength as humans, our desire to connect, to reach out? What if that's our deadliest vulnerability in the universe?
It's a chilling thought. Today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, a really stark explanation for why finding alien life might be the last thing we want, and what that implies about our place in, well, potentially very hostile universe.
Right. So the core concept, it's mind-bending, really. The universe as a dark forest. Can you walk us through that analogy?
Sure, imagine the universe as a huge dark forest at night. Every civilization is like an armed hunter. They're stalking through the trees like ghosts, moving silently, extremely carefully.
Because every other hunter is a potential threat.
Exactly, an unknown threat. And here's the part that really flips the script on, typical first contact ideas. If one hunter spots another life form, doesn't matter if it looks friendly or weak or even like a child, there's only one rational thing to do in the scenario.
Which is...
Open fire, eliminate them. Instantly.
Wow, okay, it's bleak.
It is. The logic is brutal. Any other civilization is a potential existential risk. Maybe not now, but potentially later. Exposing yourself, letting others know you exist, is basically painting a target on your back. It's this idea that, cosmically speaking, hell is other people.
That's a really counterintuitive way to think about finding life out there. Our whole instinct is to communicate.
Right, and this theory argues that instinct is fatally wrong on a cosmic scale.
So what's this built on? You mentioned some axioms.
Yes, the axioms of cosmic sociology. There are two key ones proposed in the story. First, survival is the primary need of any civilization, the absolute top priority.
Makes sense.
Second, civilizations continuously grow and expand, they need more resources, but the total amount of matter and energy in the universe is finite. It's constant.
Okay, survival and expansion versus limited resources. I can see the conflict brewing.
Precisely. And this leads directly to something called the chain of suspicion. This is crucial. Think about it. Even if you think another civilization might be peaceful, you can't possibly know for sure what they think of you, or if their peaceful nature might change later, or if they suspect you might change.
So it just keeps spiraling, an endless loop of doubt.
Exactly, an indefinitely convoluted chain of suspicion. And unlike here on Earth, where maybe sometimes we can talk things through across interstellar distances, communication is incredibly slow, maybe impossible before suspicion escalates to conflict. Imagine trying to signal we come in peace across light years to someone who sees your very existence as a potential future threat. It might be too late before the message even arrives.
So that's a pretty terrifying hypothetical. But what about, say, a less advanced civilization? Surely they aren't an immediate threat.
But that's where technological explosions come in. This is a key part of the danger.
Technological explosions.
Yeah, the idea that a civilization's technological progress isn't necessarily slow and steady. It could leap forward incredibly rapidly, unpredictably. So a civilization that seems primitive and harmless now could, potentially become an existential threat almost overnight in cosmic terms.
So you can't even trust perceived weakness.
Not if survival is your absolute priority. Letting another civilization know you exist is dangerous. Letting them continue to exist is also dangerous. Both violate that prime directive, survival. So the only logical strategy is stealth, silence.
Which paints humanity with our SETI projects and messages sent into space.
As a stupid child, yes, that's the analogy used. Building a huge bonfire in the dark forest and shouting, "Here I am, come find me."
Yeah.
Things like the fictional Red Coast project in the story become terrifyingly naive in this context.
And this theory, it actually gets sort of proven within the narrative, right?
Yeah, it does, and that's a real turning point. There's this character, Luigi. He basically figures out this dark forest logic, and he performs an act, kind of like casting a spell. He broadcasts the location of a specific distant star, 187J3X1, out into the universe.
And what happens?
It gets destroyed swiftly by a relativistic attack, a photoid, they call it in the story, a tiny particle moving near light speed carrying immense destructive energy. It was the first concrete, scientific proof within that universe that the dark force was real, and it completely changed humanity's outlook.
From hope to paranoia.
Pretty much. Isolation and paranoia. The optimism just evaporated.
And Luigi used this understanding then. He became the sword holder.
Yes, he established what's called dark forest deterrence, basically mutually assured destruction on a cosmic scale. He held the metaphorical sword, the ability to broadcast Earth's location to the universe, guaranteeing destruction for both Earth and the invading Trisolarans if they attacked. It created a tense, fragile peace.
But it didn't last. It was a failure.
A critical failure. And this leads to a really controversial point about, well, human nature. Eventually, the responsibility of the sword holder passed to another character, Cixin. But when the moment came, her compassion, her empathy, her reluctance to cause universal destruction, it stopped her. She couldn't bring herself to activate the broadcast.
And the consequence.
The deterrence failed. The system was terminated almost immediately. Earth's transmitter destroyed. Humanity was left vulnerable. It poses this really uncomfortable question. Could the very qualities we value most, compassion, empathy, be liabilities in a universe governed by cold, hard, survival logic?
That's a lot to think about. The dark forest theory, it's genuinely chilling. It suggests the silence isn't comforting because we're alone, but terrifying because we're, well, not alone, and hiding is the only way to survive.
Which brings us to the final thought, really, a question for you listening. If you held that responsibility, if you were the sword holder for all of humanity, knowing the rules of this dark forest, what choice would you make? Annihilation. Or hoping for a different way, even if it means extinction? What's the price of survival?
A profound question indeed. Thanks for joining us on this pretty intense deep dive today. We hope it gave you some new perspectives. Let us know your thoughts, subscribe, maybe leave a review, join the community. We'll see you next time.